talk about the wine and talk about the wine.
Welcome to Wine and Dessert, the podcast where we talk everything wine and that goes with it. I'm Moani, that's Cris, and I have Hali'a right next to me. You want to do the honors, introduce our guests?
Yes, we have the wonderful Michelle Sorenson, who set up this lovely table for us today. We're going to talk about desserts and teas and all that comes with it.
Great.
So you want to tell us a little bit about what you do?
I serve afternoon tea, and I've been doing that since 1999 in downtown Honolulu.
Wow, that's so cool.
What
I love
made
tea
you
parties.
get into the whole concept of tea, or like a tea party, or desserts, or scones? Like, what was the whole drive?
Well, originally I was designing clothing, so I had a clothing boutique. So I did Hali'a costumes and weddings and prom dresses and things like that. And I thought, while I was working with my guests, or I would design their clothing, the idea of just serving them some tea and something a little relaxing, a little fun. So the idea of the tea came about, and it wasn't for another 2 years or so that I started doing just the tea service.
That looks beautiful. Everything looks so gorgeous, and we're just gonna jump right in, right? Who doesn't want to eat dessert first, right? Yeah. So I brought dessert wine. It's not just any old dessert wine. I know a lot of people have the conception that port works really well with chocolate, and it does, for sure. But I think wine with a little more elegance, like port is really high alcohol, it's fortified. This is one of my favorite port-like wines out of Bagnols in South France, made by Domaine de la Tourvielle. And I'm gonna stop talking about it and we're gonna drink it.
Well, you know what we might pair nicely with that, because the chocolate decadent is pretty, very, very sweet, and maybe those two together might be a little overpowering.
Sure.
And
so,
you made everything, correct?
Actually, the sweets, Kanan from Stage made.
Oh,
So the
wow.
pastry chef, and he prepared these lovely desserts for us. So we have the chocolate decadent cake, the white chocolate cheesecake, the pumpkin spice cake, and the coconut macaroon toffee bars, and they're absolutely delicious. So we do a tea service here twice a year. We do a Mother's Day, and we do a Christmas tea. So Stage puts everything together, and they do an absolutely wonderful job.
I love it. I'm such a sweet tooth. Oh my goodness. So I'm excited about this. Let's go ahead and try the wine.
Okay.
Yeah. And what dessert were you saying?
I think maybe the white
You can
chocolate
tell I'm hungry,
cheesecake,
right?
because I think that since the port is really, really sweet,
Sure.
I think it might.
Overpower
Why
it?
do ports have or you were saying that not everybody likes ports. Why is that?
Well,
When I
it's
smell it, it
hard.
smells sweet.
Yeah, it's like almost like rock candy, like plum rock candy, right?
Oh.
Right? Oh, I put that in everybody's mind. I just incepted that because I don't know. Port gets a bad rap. Like, it's weird because in Hawaii we love our sweet things and we love our salty things, but not a lot of people order dessert at restaurants. Do you find that the case as well?
Well, we include the dessert with the tea service,
I like
so
that.
it just comes with it.
Cool.
They have to eat the dessert.
Yeah, and people can bring their own wine and champagne in too when they come to the shop. So
Oh yeah.
I love it. It's just the whole experience and the beauty of having everything set up. It's just like wine. We have conversations when we drink wine, but tea, the same thing. It's just giving us a reason to kind of get together and experience and enjoy this atmosphere that we have
So-
presented.
I've never been to tea time.
okay, all right,
Finger?
you're welcome. Yeah, so
Finger?
finger
What
food,
is this?
it's totally fine.
Tell me which one to eat, please.
I would do the white chocolate
Okay.
cheesecake.
Because it does. I mean, it does kind of smell like blueberries too, right?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
You
Can
have
I-
to
can
use
I-
your dainty.
Yeah, and
when
then here,
you
let's
Nothing.
put your,
dainty.
let's put
Same thing
your.
about me.
So, you can't have a tea service without the proper teacups either. So you have
Those
to-
are gorgeous.
So is there
Okay, set up.
is there a way that you're supposed to do a tea service, like from what you grab to how you grab it?
Okay, so we're seated, so you can take the teacup and the saucer and then drink it like that.
And the plate
And
underneath
then-
it is
So,
for.
yeah, so this is your saucer.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
thank you.
So you can do that if you are seated. Some people say it's not necessary and you can just put the teacup, but we're sitting in a pretty low tea setting, so I would say do it like that.
Low tea setting.
Low tea. Actually, that's a term, low tea, and that's what we call the tea service here at Stage, is low tea. And the reason why I did that, so basically low tea is a very fancy tea service.
Oh.
And people think that high tea is actually the name, it gives it that sort of elevated connotation, but actually it's not. High tea was actually the dinner meal. It was the plowmen's, the workers' food when they came home. So low tea is what the women back in the day, that the high society ladies would sit down in their living rooms in a low tea setting. And that was how the concept of low tea. So they brought all their fancy stuff out.
So men weren't invited.
Sorry.
Really?
Well,
Sorry.
you're related to this one.
Yes, tea time. Well, you know what? Real men drink tea. So you're fine.
I didn't realize how
I've never
much
been to one.
like there is to a tea party, and I think it's so interesting in the history that you go. I mean, the history of wine and tea. It's amazing. But we're gonna hold on to that note.
Yes.
We're gonna get situated with Cris and getting all dainty. When we come back from the break, we're gonna talk more with Michelle about tea and dessert. Stay tuned. Special thank you to Windows Hawaii and the Honolulu Star Appetizer.
Welcome back to Wine and Desserts. Today we have Michelle, and we were just talking about our dessert wine and all of these desserts that we're about to dig into. I'm so excited.
And we were just about to eat, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Go,
cool.
Cris, go.
The white chocolate
White
cheesecake.
chocolate, okay.
Let's try that with the port wines.
I'm
Cool.
gonna stick to the wine aspect.
All right.
So
It's a lot
fingers,
of
is,
cheese.
fingers are
And
fine, right?
Fingers are
are
fine.
okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's little, I gave you, and here's some napkins.
Oh, the napkins
it's
are
pink.
so...
I like pink and turquoise. Those are my two favorite colors.
Okay, so the cheesecake first. You said these were made by Stage, correct?
Yes, by Kanan from Stage.
Nice.
He does a fabulous job. If you
Awesome.
You should
know, I
just
have to
do-
share. Just a couple of months ago, I had a little tea party with my younger sister. She's my half sister. She just turned 10, and we were talking about low. What do you call it?
Low tea?
Low tea. So we had a little picnic. So we had pillows and we sat on the ground, had a little table, and then we had tea. And it's just the experience of it all, just kind of playing pretend and having fancy desserts. But
Now we're doing it in real life.
Now we're doing
Yes,
it in real
yes,
life.
yes, yes.
Awesome.
And as you guys get into the desserts, I wanted to bring up, you actually got to serve the Dalai Lama.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
How was that experience? Did you have a favorite tea? Like, was there anything different that you had to do?
They had approached us, like, I think a year and a half before, because they knew he was going to do the Pillars of Peace seminar or the tour around the world and coming to Hawaii. So they asked if I would serve him tea, afternoon tea. So we were going to do the whole setup, and then as it went along, they said, no, all he wants is Darjeeling. Darjeeling is his favorite tea. And Darjeeling is a tea, it's like wine. Tea, they have, tea connoisseurs that, do also taste wines. So Darjeeling is considered the champagne of all teas. And it's grown on the slopes of Darjeeling, India. So that's one of his favorite teas. And that's all he wanted, was just some Darjeeling tea. And that was at the Iolani Palace.
Wow.
Then that day, he just said he wanted hot water. And there's a whole, he has a saying about drinking hot water, and I can't remember what it is. And it's something very spiritual.
I'm sure it's so
Very, very,
profound.
yes, it
Right,
is.
so-
And it was just like, yes.
All right,
Okay.
Wait, it's not a one-biter? Because I ate it like nigiri sushi. It was just like,
You can,
thank you, chef.
You
Huh.
can.
I had like a little
Wait, so that's what the spoon's for? I thought it was for stirring the tea thing.
No, you can do that
Okay.
too. You're
Do
fine.
both. Go
You're
for
totally
it.
fine.
Okay,
It's
well,
your idea of tea.
that's amazing, for sure. And the thing about that is, like, a lot of people don't realize the liquid always needs to be sweeter than the food itself.
Oh,
Absolutely. Think of
okay,
like,
yeah, that really kind of, I'm
right?
sorry.
No, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not overly sweet. It's all these desserts, I'm sure, are gonna be great.
yeah.
But think of like wedding, right? You attend a wedding and people spend a ton of money on champagne, like super expensive champagne. They save this bottle and they eat it with their wedding cake. And once you have your wedding cake and you go back and have the champagne, it sort of loses all of its touch because all you taste is that sugar just wipes it out. So it tastes like lemony sparkle water. I'm gonna get into the next one.
This is
I'm
really
gonna go
good.
through all of them
Okay.
in 20 minutes.
Might as
Watch
well.
this.
So this is
Watch
the
this.
pumpkin spice
Cool.
cake. So that's a little holiday inspired pumpkin spice cake.
Now I know better not to eat in one bite.
You
Right?
can just
Really?
take a bite.
Let me show
Well,
you my favorite.
I like, and then kind of wash it down. No,
and wash it down.
which you're not supposed to do, but that's okay.
Right?
So how are you supposed to hold the glass? Tell us the proper way to hold
By
the
the
glass.
bowl.
I've already got. scolded me how many times, but you're
You know, people
supposed
like manhandle the glasses.
okay, I
She's
do
like,
fingerprints
this,
all
That's
over
her.
the
That's
and
glasses.
I'm
her.
not supposed to, so I'm supposed to do this.
Whatever you want.
Like
Just
this?
never the bowl.
Never the bowl.
But there are too many rules in wine.
But you know, but it
whatever
actually
makes
makes the glass nicer too. It's
And he
not
was saying
all
too, if you hold, it's like a temperature
Yep.
Oh, yes,
thing
yes,
with
yes.
the wine.
Especially with these wonderful Riedel glasses. It's so thin.
But
Tell
it's,
us-
oh, go.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, we're just sticking out our pinky. Is that how you have to hold the tea cup?
Oh,
It's kind of the same thing, right? Like, do we have
It's
to?
rude.
It's actually.
Oh, it's rude.
So, and I think the concept came
Oopsies.
because they didn't have handles before. So the British, when they came over, they started putting handles. But prior to that, the teacups didn't have handles, so people were holding it. And your pinkies are like sensitive, so people would just hold it, and then the pinky would naturally go out. So that's one of the theories. But no, you just hold it like that.
Oh, so that's rude.
Yeah. So you don't want to. It's fun to play, but no, just
Okay.
don't.
We
There
won't
are
do that
rules.
anymore.
There
Yes.
are rules. Okay.
Thank you for asking.
You guys. We'll be back for wine, and definitely check out our sponsors.
Welcome back to Wine and we're here with Michelle. So we just touched on the pumpkin spice dessert. I'm over here drinking more of my port wine. That's my dessert. But you had a
Banyos.
question?
Yeah. Was that the only one that inhaled the pumpkin? Cool.
Yes.
Can we
Yes.
can we try the pumpkin, please? And then
Okay.
tell me
All right.
first off if you like it or not. Because for me, it's a great classic pairing. There's all this like fall inspired things, and the wine itself is very autumnal in nature. It's like it feels like something I want to have when it's a little colder outside, but not quite winter. Remember, this is Bagnols. This is a port-like wine made with a different grape called Grenache, which is often associated with the fall. But it's not as heavy, right? So this thing is sweet for sure, but it also has this spicy thing going on. Am I just the only one?
No.
It's
Actually,
good, right?
It's nice because it kind of it complements the flavors really well. Like you said, it enhances actually the pumpkin, and then you can taste the plum.
spice more
Yeah.
when I drank the dessert
And
wine.
is that raisin on there? I'm assuming, like a little bit of raisin, cranberry.
Yep, cranberry.
So this is actually made from a raisinated style of wine, so it makes sense.
Okay.
And the next dessert, because I'm
Okay.
hungry,
I think we're gonna get into the
Sounds
tea
good.
sandwiches though, right? 'Cause
Sounds
they're sitting
good.
here.
but I get to eat them later, right?
Yes,
Cool.
we'll eat them later.
Yes.
So
We're gonna go
tea
into
time is not all about desserts, right? There's some savory
Savories.
stuff too.
Yes.
Cool.
So I prepared a little bit traditional afternoon tea sandwiches. So the chicken curry, the crab and I didn't do crab and excuse me. The cheddar cheese and tomato and the egg salad.
Okay.
So which one are we trying
Truth be
first?
told, I only had that much time this morning to do it. So
Oh, I just whipped this
There's
up.
like 10 different types of
oh yeah,
sandwiches you
so we
can
have
prepare.
6 different sandwiches when you come into the tea shop. So we have the chicken curry, the egg salad, the cheddar cheese and tomato, the crab on the croissant, the smoked salmon, and then we do a Hali'a pork with a guava glaze on sweetbread. So those are your 6 savories that you get, and then we have the scones, which are up there. We have the lavender and white chocolate with the cream and the jam, and we do orange cranberry scones. And right now I'm doing a coconut chocolate, dark chocolate chip too.
Please don't apologize. This is amazing. You're like, oh, I just had a little bit. I just threw this together. It's just gorgeous.
So I have to ask before we get into like the bubbly, if you could turn your favorite tea into a wine, what would it be and why?
Oh,
Your favorite tea, if you could turn it into a wine, what would
well,
it
you know what? I like Earl Grey.
be? Oh,
What's
And
the characteristics of Earl Grey?
Earl Grey has oil of bergamot, which is it has this very distinct aroma and taste. It's very strong. And I think that would be kind of a nice, I think that would be.
I was kind of thinking, I was like, what is my favorite tea? Green tea, but I don't know how that would be with wine.
Eat the lamb.
Probably not.
Okay,
Alright.
I'm gonna dig right in.
Okay.
Which one? Is there an order for tasting? Again,
Nope.
there are rules,
No,
right?
no.
So there's no
well,
order.
These are a little bit bigger, so you don't want to plop the whole thing in your mouth on this one, but couple of
Challenge
bites.
accepted.
Couple of bites.
Challenge
Let's keep
accepted.
it classy.
Alright,
Keep
that's
it
true.
classy.
This is low tea after all. This is not high tea,
Yes.
right?
Did
This
you want
is
to
low
share
tea.
anything about this before?
No, I mean, I think everybody thinks champagne, right? What is the term with tea and champagne again?
Of royalty.
A royalty. That's no pun intended. That's amazing.
All right, well, I apologize, Chris,
No,
but
no
we're
worries.
going to have to actually hold. We're going to take a break. We're actually going to shoot it over to Chandra. She's going to give us the cocktail of the week. See you guys when we get back.
Thanks, guys. So the cocktail of the week today is called Flying with Angels. And I don't know about you, but I like my desserts to be sweet and then my cocktails not too sweet, so it balances out the sweetness of the dessert. So today I'm going to be doing a rendition of a Boulevardier using Angel's Envy bourbon, which is finished in port barrels. So you have a little bit of that wine connection. I infuse that with some cacao nib. But first of all, I'm going to start off by rimming my glass with a little bit of a dark chocolate salt. So this is really easy to make at home. It's just Wailua chocolate, some Malden sea salt, and a little bit of turbinado cane sugar. And you get a little sip of the salt and a little sip of the drink and a little bit of the salt to go with it. I'm using Madeira. This is Savory Madeira, which is a fortified wine. To bring in a little bit of that bitterness, a touch of Campari. And last but not least, our cacao nib infused Angel's Envy. So cacao nibs actually aren't sweet, but it does bring the depth of the chocolate into the drink. So we're gonna stir this, get a nice dilution. I'm gonna strain over a beautiful craft ice cube provided by On the Rock Hawaii. And here we have Flying with Angels. Cheers.
Welcome back to Wine, and thank you so much, Chandra, for the cocktail of the week. All right, Michelle, we were just talking about all of the sandwiches and the desserts, so let's go ahead and dig in some more.
Yeah, so any sandwich to pair with, I know, so royal tea, right, is typically champagne and
With your afternoon
with your
tea.
tea. I went because champagne is you know, it's high, it's sort of has this air of snobbery about it, right? Which is totally fine because I love champagne.
Fancy schmancy.
But there are rules, but we're here to break them. So Ruggeri is actually not champagne. It is sparkling wine made in Italy from Prosecco. This is an old family in the 1950s. And the thing I love about Ruggeri and Prosecco particularly for these kind of savory foods is that although it says extra dry on the bottle, it actually has quite a bit of sugar. So you notice that like the sugar for the La Tour Viel and the sugar with the desserts matched because you need sugar for pairing, right? So any particular sandwich that you recommend, or I'm just gonna dig
Just
right
go
in.
ahead, yeah.
Okay.
You have the egg salad.
Egg is perfect with sparkling wine.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna try the egg with.
yeah, because it's sort of like that sulfury
Okay, well,
kind
let
of
me do
thing.
the egg too then.
Just stick to the alcohol.
That was so like not appetizing. Yeah, it's kind of like sulfury, like you know, rotting. Yeah.
But isn't it all champagne has more sugar content than wine, would you say, per se? Okay.
Because champagne has a ton of acid, so you need sugar to balance it out. So you don't really taste it, right? Think of like lemonade. You get super high acid lemon, and you add just the right amount of sugar, and it balances it out, right? What do we think about the pairing?
Wow.
I was trying to concentrate while you were talking.
I'm trying to concentrate as well, but it just really enhanced the flavors. Like I can
of the
taste.
egg.
Yeah.
It gave it a different flavor to the egg salad. I mean, I've been eating these for years.
I love it.
She's like, for as long as I've had my tea.
Right? In Hawaii, we just make an egg salad and give it to all the kids, but here with some sparkling.
So it added a little different dimension to something that you were familiar with.
And besides having, you know, of course, a love for tea and doing all of that, you also did Ironman. Am I saying that correctly? You want to tell us a little bit about that?
I've done 8 Ironmans.
Wow.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what Iron Man is. You're Iron Man? What? What is this?
You swim for 2.4 miles,
Wow.
Like in one sitting?
and then you ride your bike
one-
for
in one
112 miles.
One swim.
In one swimming.
And then you also swim for 2.4
And then
miles.
the bike ride is?
112 miles.
Okay.
And then you run a marathon.
And
So you're a
that's,
triathlon
All
athlete.
in one
Okay.
day.
no, it's
Oh, my
not.
goodness.
Yes. All in one day.
And you did 8 of those.
I've done 8, and I qualified for the World Championship 3 times, actually. So we were supposed to do Kona this past year, 2010, 10, 20, would have been my second Kona one. I've done the half Ironman World Championship in Chattanooga, Tennessee. But I'm very fortunate. I've done them all around the world. So I qualified in Vichy, France last year for this Kona slot.
Wow.
So you have to take your age group. And my age group is 60 to 64.
Lies.
So,
No, you don't look
Lies.
it. So
so I came in first in my age group.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
And that qualified me to go to the World Championship in Kona.
Incredible.
And
Wow.
that was that'll be my second time. So we had to defer it because of COVID. So now it's going to be October of next year.
So let's be real. You're not, because I was gonna say I need to get on this like tea and like champagne diet so I can run Ironmans, right? That's not.
I don't understand how you're so multifaceted. You can do desserts and wines, and then go ahead and run do a triathlon.
It's not just run a triathlon, right? It's running, swimming, biking.
Everything.
do it.
Yes.
You just do it. You don't think about it. You just
really
do it.
all.
is there
just
anything
go
else
and you
that
just
you
do it.
love to do besides tea, desserts? Like what else is there? Your hidden talent?
Well, you know, right now, because of COVID, I have been working with my grandsons with distance learning. So I'm there Monday through Friday from in the morning till they're finished with school. And it's been a blessing and a challenge. And
Yeah. Well, we're all about Ohana here in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
We want to thank you so much, Michelle, for being
Yes.
here on the
Michelle
show.
does
We
it
had
all.
such an amazing time. I love sweets. I had a great time as well. We want to thank our sponsors. So we have Saks Fit. We're wearing beautiful outfits. Hugo Boss, right,
Hugo
Chris?
Boss.
yes,
baby,
and they
check
are
'em out.
located in International Marketplace.
Also,
Like-
the Honolulu Star Advertiser now available digitally.
There we go.
Yeah, and don't
Yeah.
forget to check out our extended version on YouTube. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.
Cheers.
thank you.
Cheers.
Oh.
Talk about the wine and talk about the wine, Talk about the wine and talk about the wine, Talk about the wine and talk about the wine,
Welcome back to Wine and Desserts, the extended YouTube version. Thank you for subscribing and hitting the like button. Make sure to tell all of your friends. We have Michelle here. So we're just gonna keep chatting away. I know that you have some scones that you wanted to tell us about and showcase. But since we are on the whole triathlon Ironman, is there a special diet the night before? Do you carb overload? What do you do to like have all that strength?
Oh my
that
gosh.
makes you go first place.
Well, you know, the last couple of years, I actually changed my diet to be a low carb diet for racing. And prior to that, it was a very high carb because you needed that sugar and that energy. So, but it made my stomach upset because if you can imagine, you know, you're just ingesting all of these sugary carb-like things, and then on the run, you don't feel very comfortable. So I started looking into alternatives, and I found that there's a whole world, another world out there, an idea of racing that incorporates the low carb part of it, and I feel that it gives me more energy. So you're tapping into your ketones, which are your fats for fuel, but you have more fats for fuel than your glucose. And your glucose, you only have about 2,000 or so calories in there that you constantly have to replenish. So we have a lot, even the most thinnest felt person like yourself, there's a lot of fat cells that we have that we can burn that you don't think that, so you can use that ketone energy. So that's what you have to tap into. So that's what I've been tapping into when I do
That's
my
what they
Ironman.
call keto diet.
In a sense, but yeah, so ketones are actually just the real, term for, you know, the actual energy source. So we have two energy sources. We have our ketones and we have our glucose.
Wow.
And we can, so the keto diet is very similar. It's a low carb, high fat diet.
So you get to eat mostly fats?
You know what? I get to eat like the creams, the jams, and the butter.
Can we dig into
really?
that?
Okay,
Good kind
let's
of
dig in,
stuff.
let's dig
That
in.
is like my most favorite, and like ribeye and
I need to get on that diet. Actually, I need
So-
to get on any diet.
So
but-
whatever you feed
Keto
me, I
everywhere.
trust you because you've done
Yeah,
you've done this a
seriously.
million times.
But how long? So how long does it take for you to? I mean, when did you get started in that? How long does it take to train? How many months out are you prepping for that? I mean,
It's been like 10 years. I've been doing it over 10 years. And it just started out as something to do with a couple of my girlfriends. And we started doing small races, local little races. And then my one girlfriend said, you know what, let's do a Honu. And I was like, what's a Honu? And she goes, the Honu, the half Ironman, it's in Kona every year. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? And so that's half of an Ironman. It's 1.2 swim. You know, it's a 56-mile bike ride and only a half marathon.
only.
So, yeah. So, and at that point, I was just like, oh my God, yes, yes. Oh my, and anybody that did it, I was just like, and then anybody that did an Ironman was just beyond me. So there's just a bunch of group of really awesome women that I get together with, and we train. Well, actually, we belong to a group.
Okay.
And we just have this camaraderie, and we train together, and we travel around the world together, and we do Ironman races, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. So as far as training, you need, well, because I have like a base, you go in and out. So you have a period where you're training, and then you rest. A couple months you take off, and then you slowly ramp up, and then the volume gets higher and higher as you get closer, and then you start tapering that back. So it's kind of like a locomotion, like a train. That's what I used to visualize it. You're going really, really fast. It's starting slow, and then it goes really, really fast. And then when you get towards the race, you slow it down. And then the engine starts slowing down so that when come race day, you have all this energy in you, and you go, yes, your peak, exactly, that's the term. Yeah.
Wow. So after doing all of these races, I'm sure you got some awards. Can you tell us a little about some of the things that you've gotten from this?
I heard you can get a tattoo.
You get a tattoo.
Is that?
Do
do people who finish? But it's a select group, right? Like if I wanted to, because I know I don't look like I do Ironmans. So if I wanted to get a tattoo of that, I couldn't, right?
You can.
But then I'd be mauled instantly by like superhuman
No, then
athletes.
everybody like, oh, you did an Ironman? And then you're like, oh.
That's definitely not believable, but thank you.
I'm trying to be like,
Thanks, Moani.
it's all about transparency.
But can you? So what does a tattoo look like?
Oh, it's just an I am. They call it the I am dot. So it's an I with an M that's infused in it with a little red dot. So it's I am dots. And you know,
Like you just.
people put it wherever they put like on their calf.
Okay, so where's yours?
You know what? I have a bracelet and I have a necklace.
Okay.
I can't put any tattoos on my body.
That's
Do you know why?
No.
No.
Somebody told me, would you put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari?
Yeah. Damn, that is good. True. That.
We're over here like,
For real.
there's a really big story.
Well, see, that's why I don't have any tattoos.
That's why I also don't have any tattoos.
But you know what? I appreciate tattoos.
Right.
I appreciate them. I
Yes,
appreciate
they're
them.
art.
Yes. But I personally, it's just not.
That's not your choice.
You can't put a
This is my
bumper
choice.
sticker on a busted up old Toyota Camry.
But not that we're against
I
it.
love how you're.
Right, you saw my car? No. Yeah, and you can't go to the onsen in Japan if you have tattoos, I was told. You know the
really?
public baths? Yeah, you gotta cover it up.
Right, or in Korea.
Oh yeah?
Oh.
That's my excuse. Sorry, I'm looking at these scones now, and
Okay.
Oh, yes.
let me
This
carry that
is
for you. You were holding it, and we
lavender.
totally.
Here, I'll hold it for you, and
No,
you can
no,
take one
I'll
down.
hold for you.
Okay, all right. So, and then what you do is you put a little bit of cream and a little bit of jam.
So that's cream.
Yeah, this is the clotted cream.
And what kind of jam are we serving?
Why do we call
Strawberry.
it clotted?
Good question.
Does it have clots?
You know what? I don't know. You know the British, they have such funny names. They really have
Sorry.
different names for things. And you know what? Maybe I looked it up one time, but I totally forgot. Or maybe it's the champagne. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you need more?
No.
She's like, oh no, it's okay. I have a long day ahead of me.
Yeah, I have to go teach my grandsons today.
Ooh.
So
So is it like a family thing that everybody comes to tea 10:24, or is it just more of your own little passion?
well, we do now. I mean, we do dine in, and because of COVID, we had to remove several tables and chairs. Everything is socially distanced, so we can't seat as many people. We just did a Halloween event, so I had 3 seatings, And that was, we sold out on that. So we, and it was dark and I had all my decorations and stuff like that. And it reminded me of old day when I used to, we used to do it before COVID. And I used to do huge parties. I mean, women would come in for a bridal shower for 30 ladies.
Wow.
You know, so now, yeah, we could do 2 of those a day. You know, so it's so sad that, you know, right now we only have the 5 limit. And then prior to that was the 5 limit within the same household. And then, so we started doing curbside pickup. And that was a challenge for me because the concept of sticking an afternoon tea experience like this and putting it in a box was very challenging for me. So I was like, how do I make this experience fun?
Because it's not just about the food. It's not just about the liquid, right? It's the atmosphere. It's the camaraderie. It's the conversation.
Right.
Can I ask you to do a little weird experiment?
Sure.
Okay.
But-
So we're gonna learn about texture in.
Okay. Some more champagne?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you'd like, I don't wanna.
Okay.
Yeah. So that scone is all about texture, right?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So if you
Okay. So,
take a bite and also take some liquid in your mouth. So have both the scone and the bubbles in your mouth simultaneously, and watch
and
what
you,
it does.
You ate it properly.
I did.
Good boy. Yeah. So a lot of people, what
I
people
mean, I
do.
did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
A lot of times, guys, what they do,
I did.
they cut it in half and they make it into a sandwich, and then they put the cream and jam. No, that's actually there's a couple of ways schools of thought, you know, and if you want to do that, go ahead and do it. But it's almost like a biscuit. So when you have a biscuit on your table, or you know, you're just going to take a bite and then you put your cream and your jam on it. Oops.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I did it earlier.
Yeah. And then you just eat it that way.
Okay.
So every little bite. So it's just like the same thing with when you're going to dinner and you have a piece of bread on your, you don't sit there and cut it in half and slather the whole thing. You take little bites. And okay, so I'll try.
Okay.
Go for it. So how exactly did you make the whole like tea experience with the dessert in a box? Because you did curbside, correct? I'll let you drink the champagne.
Sorry, excuse me.
You feel that?
I can taste the lavender stronger.
Do you feel the bubbles and the way it attacks the carbs and the? Isn't that crazy?
I like that.
It's all about texture with bubbles.
I like that.
Man, that's amazing.
Oh, okay, so Moani, so in answer to your question, I got like really cute boxes and stuff.
Sorry.
Continue.
They're having some,
You're having a moment.
spiritual moments here.
That's what a good food and wine pairing does. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, no, really, you taste
Okay,
it.
well, I want to
Sorry,
go there.
sorry.
I'm going to go to that
Cool.
place too.
Sorry, you can go to that place. I just want to know how exactly you
And
made
so
the
do I.
experience.
And so do I.
Oh, okay. So we put it in a box. I got cute little boxes. First, I got balsa wood boxes, which were amazing. Oh, wow. And but they were expensive. And then Chef Stone stopped carrying them because nobody wanted to use them. Aren't they beautiful? Did you use them?
No.
You didn't? Somebody used them for their to go too. And so it was really nice. But then I found these cute little pink stripe ones and stuff. So we put everything in there. And presented it as nicely as we could, stickers and everything like that, give it to them. But I was still like, oh my God, this is like, they're gonna eat sandwiches out of a box. But then people started sending me pictures like this at their home. They were presenting, they had their teacups and they had all of their tea accessories and all their stuff. And it made me want to cry, really, so I get chicken skin when I think about it. Because they took the experience and created and made their own. Yes. And that was what was absolutely beautiful.
I can imagine it must be fun to be like, I get to set this up, let's put this here. Ooh, what kind of teacup do you want, And like when you placed my teacup down, you said, oh, this looks like you. And that's exactly the type of experience you get when you're having a tea party and you're kind of setting everything up. It's just the experience of it all.
Well, there's one thing that we do a full rental as well. So there's people that don't have teapots and teacups and things like that. So we do offer that experience so they can take everything home and then just, they get the food and everything and then they just bring all the teacups and all the accessories back.
And you offer that now with...
Yeah, I offered that before because we also did the catering as well. And that's what I really wanted. The concept just in a box was just kind of like, really, I was trying to wrap my head around it. It was very difficult. But people were like totally fine with it. So it was just,
And the catering will bounce back soon, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
knock on wood, hopefully.
Yes.
And you know,
Bounce
the
back
good thing
soon.
is that people are actually still enjoying tea and enjoying your
Right.
desserts and sending you I mean, that must be so humbling and also just like warms your heart at the same time, seeing that like during a pandemic when there's so much negative, there's so much positive to see.
Right.
So that's amazing.
I think people are craving that. They want to be able to celebrate something, be in a social setting, feel normal again, and maybe something like this is another option for them. So that's awesome.
I feel really good right now. I feel great.
So is hats like a thing? I just have to ask, like for tea, is it a must that you have to wear hats, or is that just kind of how we did the pinky?
You can. I mean, we do have hats and boas. And
For rental?
prior, know that you walk in, and I mean, guys, I tell you, it's so funny because real men drink tea. I do have hats. I do have boas for guys too.
Oh my gosh,
And,
that's
I mean, this cup, you matched it to me too, right?
Yes, I
That's
chose
very
it.
me.
That's a Royal Albert. That's a very
Ooh, you're
vintage.
royal.
Well, Michelle, we want to thank you so much for being here today. We had such an amazing time. My taste buds are on fire right now.
Seriously, so
and
good.
everything is just so beautiful. So thank you for being here. Go ahead and check out our extended YouTube page. Go ahead and like and subscribe. And also go ahead and visit Saks Fifth. We have our wonderful outfits. Hugo Boss.
Yes, Hugo.
Yes, and
Check
also the
'em out.
Honolulu Star advertiser for your local news and updates. Thank you so
Windows
much.
Moani.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Windows.
Aloha.
Cheers. Thanks again, Michelle.
Yes, thank you. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.